Hi, welcome to Cop That, a new channel set up purely in response to a lot of the things that I'm seeing online, things that are really bothering me when it comes to Liverpool Football Club and the surrounding, orbiting people, comments, occasional pictures. I don't know, it's been bothering me for quite a while, so I'm just going to get right into this because I'm going to be posting the day after every game. That's the aim now. Because no matter whether we win or whether we lose or draw, that's quite often these days, I'm seeing a lot of the same comments. And I know that these comments are generally just people who have like that emotional spike, draw with Burnley at home, just slot out. It's people who don't seem to think before they type. They're the ones that bother me. I get a lot of people, they show they're working for a start. I like that. Even if we disagree, at least you've kind of justified the conclusion that you've come to. But a lot of it seems to be down purely to people calling something boring. This is too slow and blah 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 or whatever. Right? Too many sideways passes, too many back passes. All the things people used to criticize Jordan Henderson for before they ended up loving him. And we're doing that as a team, apparently. And no matter what happens, the same people seem to be saying the same things. So I'm going to go into the game yesterday because yesterday, results aside, obviously, we were miles better, way better. We were trying something different because I know these low blocks have caused us all kinds of problems all season, but we were trying to play through them. And as a result, we actually created more openings inside their penalty area than we have done, I think, all season against anybody. And we haven't been doing that a lot recently. It has been a lot around the box and, just probing and then eventually maybe put a cross in, play for a set piece, etc., etc., etc. But yesterday was a lot better. A lot more positivity in the passing. We were pressing, it seemed pressing higher than usual. We were not back in the midfield a lot more. The pace had gone up. Passes seemed to be going forward more than they usually were. We put more crosses in. I actually saw Gakpo use Kerkez on an overlap. If anybody missed that, or if you saw that even, and you're still telling me that it's the same, mate, that was newsworthy. But what I'm going to look into, because I'm going to draw a direct comparison, right? For anyone that doesn't see an improved performance, I'm going to use a direct comparison between two home games against the bottom two teams in the league. Wolves, which we won 2-1 at Anfield. Burnley yesterday, which was 1-1, as we all remember. But I'm going to use a couple of examples. First thing I want to go to, some people are going to the head at it, is going to be XG. Yay, everybody's favourite accumulation of statistics. But as you can see against Wolves, pretty high, higher than usual. XG. Wolves is actually alarmingly high for a game at Anfield. But we win this game 2-1. Just have a quick look at the difference between this and the Burnley game. Now, if you can't see a difference in that alone, then I can't help you. Turn the video off now, please. There's no point. We're not gonna agree going forward. Because the actual statistics themselves, which is was the Wolves game. You see, obviously goals 2-1, whatever. 14 shots, 4 on target. 9 shots against us and 4 on target. 666 possession. Nice. Nice, demonic. 33, 581 successful passes to 252, 45 long, 53 long, 6 corners, 4 corners. Right, that's against Wolves. That is the worst team in the league. I'll get into why that doesn't mean as much as it should a little bit after this. But first, let's look at the Burnley game. Now, obviously, goals aside, there's quite a difference there, right? Can you can you see the difference yet? We haven't even gone into specifics, but can you see the difference? I'm going to use a player. Player is Florian Wirtz, right? Now, this is against Burnley. This is yesterday, right? 82.4% pass success rate. Didn't put any successful crosses in, but look at the pass direction, right? 30.6% forward, 23 back. And this is where the massive difference is. 32.9% left. Compare that to Wolves. 84, a slightly better success rate, only 22.1% forward, 29% backwards, so 6% more going backwards. But it's this thing on the right. It's 34.9% to the right, whereas against Wolves it was 32.9% to the left. So you know where he's going, where he's playing, where he's hanging around. But the aim is to just show the positivity in terms of the passes, the forwards, the side to side, and so on and so forth. He had 3 key passes in both of these games. But I'm going to pick out another player, just as another example. This is, right there, let me scroll up slightly. This is Ryan Gravenberch, right? I've seen him come in for some criticism, somehow. And this is against Burnley yesterday. 94.4% success rate, 28% forward, 40% left. That's where most of his passes went. 7%. 7% going backwards. Dang, that's some positivity. Anyway, now let's look at him against Wolves, which is obviously still passing mostly out to the left. But 17.9% backwards and only 22% forward. He's got 6% more going forward, 10% less yesterday going backwards. And all of these things, they just seem like little tiny details or whatever, but over the whole game, when you're winning more presses in the midfield, you're winning the ball higher up in general, you're stopping more counter-attacks. Still always going to be open to them when we play this way. When you stop these things and keep the ball further up the pitch, you can be more positive. And there was a marked, noticeable, visually noticeable difference. You can see it in little statistics like this and what have you. I'm just showing them just to, well, I'm just showing you to prove that I'm right. That's all I'm doing, really. But I'm showing you because it was visually obvious that this was different yesterday. Now, for those saying about get Slot out, get Alonso in, yeah, get Alonso in, the guy who turned up earlier on at Anfield and got tactically outdone by the guy that you want out. Why not? People saying that they want Slot out, right? I'd back that if I hadn't seen improvements, right? Now, I can see improvements a lot. It's a transition season, which I feel like people forgot about. Lost 9 out of 12 games earlier on in the season. Worst title defence of all time, despite the fact that just 1 year earlier, literally the season before this one, Manchester City, as defending champions, same time of year and everything, lost 9 and 12. It looks worse when you're Liverpool, because it's now your worst run since the 50s. But when you spent a lot of your history getting relegated or being battered and just going up and down and round like Man City have, it's not going to be your worst run since the 50s, so it doesn't look as bad on paper. But that literally happened the year before. How do you forget these things? And it happened for similar kind of reasons. City were in the process of needing change. The older players had hung around too long. They needed to start bringing in new blood and slowly phasing out these older players, or players that have been there and effectively not worn out the welcome. That sounds bad, but I mean, they just hung around too long. They shouldn't still be there. And that transition started for them last season. A season when the league itself had started shifting to this kind of low block, long throw, set piece obsessed pile of bollocks that we're looking at now. And frankly, I don't really know how else to put it in a context because everyone looks inwardly at their own club. When you look at the wider league, like this for me is the worst Premier League season that I can remember. Last season was pretty low on quality. This season is the worst that I can think of. I can't actually think of a season, definitely not recently, that has been worse than this one. Because you look at, like, we got criticised for beating Wolves because of the way we did it. Arsenal, who were top of the league at the time, and still are, Arsenal were top of the league at home to Wolves, needed 2 own goals, including one in, was it the 94th, 95th minute, to beat Wolves at home, and they were top of the league and playing well. It's on paper, when you look at the results, it should be good because it means the league's more competitive. Anybody can apparently take points off anybody. But when you see the games, it's when you see the matches. This is one thing where I won't take too much criticism about Liverpool because that possession style and stuff, if we play like we did yesterday, I'm all for it. You know, slow it down when you need to, but try and pierce those blocks. Play in those tight little spaces, try and get some link ups, maybe even take a chance. You know, score one, show some composure. That's really where that's it. That's literally the only place we really lacked anything yesterday was that. But we're at least playing. You might not like the pace of it. You might not like the direction some of the passes in, which I've never been kind of all for as an argument. Because to keep possession, you are going to need to go side to side and backwards from time to time. You go backwards to draw players out of a low block because it's too condensed. You go side to side to move players around because it's too tight and condensed. You try and spread the pitch wider and so on and so forth. There's logic behind it. It's not just passing for the sake of passing. So when people just immediately want every single pass to go further forward, I kind of stopped listening to them after a while because while you should be playing more forward passes, it shouldn't be every time a pass goes sideways or backwards. It's, oh, really? Don't listen to those people because they've obviously never coached anything. They've never played fucking 5-a-side, right? It's ridiculous to just criticize every single pass. But as I've showed you in those statistics, we're playing more forward. There's more touches in the opposition penalty area. It's looking more positive. But one of the points that I wanted to get to was from earlier on in the season. Beginning of the season, we were scoring late goals. Winning, but looked vulnerable, is the general feeling of that first part of the season. And then we hit this form, this horrible run of form. We were losing by like 3 goals at home. And you can point it out. I'll go into it maybe in some other video sometime. But just how there was it was the second goal against PSV. Like it was borderline offensive to me how bad that goal is. But it showed desperately that we needed at least a number 6 or someone to hold in there in that midfield to try and stop these things from happening. Because teams were throwing long balls forward and people were making out that that was our problem. The long ball wasn't the problem. It was the second ball. We were winning most of those first long duels, and the second ball was weird because they're now further up the pitch, so they focused on the second ball rather than they just hoofed the ball long, just challenge for the first ball, but focus on the second ball. We've cut a lot of that out, so we're conceding less. We're conceding fewer chances and fewer goals, but teams are still needing only a couple of chances to get a goal anyway. But that's something that still needs to be worked on. But we're way better than we were in terms of going forwards. I've just showed you some statistics against the bottom two teams in the league where we didn't play as well against Wolves as we did yesterday. The results were different, but it's an improvement against these blocks. That's why I'm showing you them, because that's where we struggle. Against Arsenal, we probably should have won. In all honesty, we probably should have won that game. And teams that actually play, we don't do too bad. City was a bit of an outlier. Like Madrid, beat them. Villa, who were doing really well in the league, we beat them. Arsenal, we should have beat them. But usually it's the lower down teams where we struggle. Because they stay compact, they stay narrow in the block and say, come on. But we did better against that yesterday. We had a bit more composure. A little bit of that like savagery up front. We'd have won that game 3-4-5-1 comfortably. And on another day, we probably will. But I saw plenty of positives yesterday, and yet still, I'm seeing the criticism. It's the same. It's the same shit. No, the only thing that's the same is these comments. I don't know what you're seeing yesterday. That's the same as, I mentioned the Wolves game there, but the Leeds game, like things, either Leeds game. What are you seeing that's the same? I mentioned that first part of the season where we were winning games but looked vulnerable. That translated then into losing 9 in 12 games and stuff like that. So that went horribly. But then we started fixing those problems. We shored up the midfield, getting those second balls more, conceding fewer chances. That's an improvement. The results, we were losing 9 and 12. We are now, 12 unbeaten, I think. I haven't actually checked the updated version. That's an improvement. So the results have improved. They're not where we want them to be, but they've improved. We've improved from this section. We've improved from this section of the season. And as of yesterday, at least, we look like we're trying different things. I can see it going up. It's slow, but that's the transition season. We've replaced a lot of players. And I say that rather than we've bought a lot of players, because most of these players were replacements. Okay? Again, just get this into your head, please, people. Just please, I'm begging you. Remember what a transition season is. Please. It happens a lot in football. It's reality. And I know the trending thing now in everything, really, is to just deny reality, go with your feelings, go with whatever you think. But if you see that Leeds game, that Wolves game, going to these bad performances at home, if you see those games and you see that as the same as yesterday, why are you commenting on things? It's like some kind of football colour blindness. We've gone from grey to green, but as it turns out, you see green as grey, so you're just like, oh, it's the same fucking thing. It's not the same fucking thing at all. Okay? It's not. Gradually showing more and more promise, but the criticism, I'm not saying the level of criticism has remained the same, which it probably has, but the actual criticism itself stayed the same all the way through all of this, despite there actually being changes. How are you seeing the exact same thing? Can someone explain that to me? I've seen so many groups, like on Facebook and things like that, where people are just same thing, same thing, same thing. And I want to leave a lot of them, but I need to see what people are saying so that I can kind of see if it matches up with reality. But what I've just showed you, with these statistics and things and the actual performance itself, just watch the games and you'll see a difference. Clearly see a difference. Is that what you're saying doesn't match reality? It doesn't match reality. So, how is anybody supposed to, debate these things when one person's not seeing it. I don't understand. We're not playing the style of football that we're all used to. We're not. The results could still be a lot better, obviously. We need to turn those draws into wins. But it's better than it was, which is an improvement. And on the trajectory, better defensively, better results, and now, at least yesterday, if we're doing that, a better performance. All better, not as quick as we like, but this season won't allow that for anyone because anybody can take points off anybody, as we've talked about. But we're going in the right direction. And if we're going in the right direction, why would supporters of that football club not support that? We're not going to play heavy metal football. Nobody in the league is playing heavy metal football. And also, can you remember heavy metal football? Can you remember what the league was like when we were playing heavy metal football? Would that fly now? Was it constant, fast pace, switching left, right, and centre for 90 minutes every fucking game? No, it wasn't. Stop deluding yourselves. It fucking wasn't. It was great, and when it worked, which ended up being quite a lot for a while, oh, it was brilliant. Oh, it was fucking fantastic. It really was. But don't delude yourselves into shortening your brains into just YouTube highlight videos. There was a lot of shit in there, to the point where, I don't know if anyone can remember this, there was a lot of comments, quite a few times, during Klopp's tenure, where people wanted Klopp out. And it was more than once, more than one period when that happened. And what happens if we listen to those people who don't have the patience? They don't have the patience. Don't understand how football works at all. Apparently watched it their entire lives, but don't understand how it works. Do we listen to those people? What do we do? You present your statistics, you show you're working, and you just hope that some of it sinks in. That's it. That's all you can do. Yeah, I wanted to post this. Not every video is going to be a rambling rant about this kind of stuff. It's mostly going to be the actual game itself. And I'd love to have gone into the game yesterday because, like I said, it was a much improved performance. The results sucked. That's it. But as I mentioned earlier, if you're going to go to the game, don't boo your team. Please don't boo your team. We're not playing relegation form. We're not even close to that. If you're going to boo, stay at home. If you think there's any possibility that you're going to boo, stay at home. Please. Just try and get some atmosphere back at Anfield. Because I think that Leeds game was the worst one. But the fans were actually worse than the team. And then they booed at the end. So either I've misunderstood it, and it was a rare act of self-awareness and they were all booing themselves and each other. I have no idea. But don't be worse than the team and then boo. Please. I'm hoping the results improve again. The performances keep to some sort of level like yesterday where we're actually trying things. And I'm hoping eventually that these people will start deleting the comments. It won't happen. They'll find something wrong. They'll find something to complain about. I'll find something to complain about. I'll try and keep it to these videos so I'm not arguing with everybody. there'll be more of a structure after the next game to the video. I mean, I'm just doing this quickly because I'm streaming right after this video, so I haven't had time to put anything properly together. Next video will be somewhat more professional. So I just wanted to post this as a ramble, and just as a kind of, yeah, you know, look at things. They're not as bad as maybe as you think. Maybe. And just to ask people to think. You don't have to react immediately online. That's why these videos are going to be the day after a game. Because I'm not going to knee-jerk react. I'm not going to give an immediate reaction. I'm going to listen to the post-match press conference. I want to listen to the interviews. I want to listen to maybe the pundits. And I'm going to read some comments online. I'm going to get the general feeling and then put my feeling into it. And hopefully, we can get the ball rolling on some fucking positivity in this set-piece obsessed, long throw, bullshit, fucking low block world of Premier League football. And we can at least look for the good things. Support. I feel like I've just repeated a lot of stuff in that ending, but I don't care. Like I said, there's not really any structure to this particular video. Next time I'll be a little bit more professional, and I will see you. Lucky I checked that. It's Wednesday, not Tuesday. So I will see you Thursday, will be the next video. And hopefully, it's a good result against Marseille. And we'll have some smiles. But if not, regardless, I'll be here Thursday. And I will see you, hopefully, then. Bye-bye.